Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies and gents, we want to talk about freedom. We want to talk about how none of us are free. Hey! Ray Charles, everybody. And Mr. Ray Charles, Solomon Burke also did it right here. Listen, my brother, cause if you do, you can bet that there's broads and they're calling. There are voices calling across the years. They're crying across the oceans. And they're crying across the land. And they will till we all come to understand. What do we need to understand? That none of us are free. That none of us are free. That none of us are free. None of us are free if one of us is chained. Ladies and gentlemen, people in darkness, brothers can't see the light. Why can't babies see the light? If we don't say it's wrong, then they'll think it's right. We gotta feel for each other. Let our brother know we care. Gotta get the message. Send it out. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, none of us are free. None of us are free. None of us are free if one of us is chained. None of us are free. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Ray Charles and the Raylettes. And they're letting y'all know that none of us are free. If one of us is chained, none of us are free. Yeah. Now I say to you, salvation. Now, why am I playing this song? Because I was one of those who was late to get on the bus. We got to join together. Stand up, form a line. Every soul who's suffering, let them know we're not alone. Hey. That's my man, Mr. Ray Charles, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if y'all don't understand, if you haven't gotten it, we're talking about free. He's not talking about physical freedom. He's not talking about mental freedom. He's talking about all freedom. Just look around you. You're going to see what I'm saying. The world is getting strong every passing day. Now it's time for making some changes. Now it's time we all realize that the truth is shining bright right before our eyes. Ray Charles is blind, talking about the truth shining bright right before our eyes. Y'all gotta pay attention. He wasn't just talking about mental and physical freedom. He was talking about all freedom. Blame it all on reality. And that wonderful group called humanity. None of us are free. None of us. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I sat up here and played 4 minutes worth of Ray Charles at the beginning of this video and quoted some of the words and added my words to the song, because I think that this song did a whole lot, said a whole lot, meant a whole lot, and nobody paid attention to it. Now, many of you have never heard it before. Now, I know some of you are going to say, oh, I heard that song, you done played it before. And others are going to say, nah, man, my grandmama used to play that song. And others are going to say, man, I was listening to something the other day and that song came on. But you never heard the song. Tell them, Ray, that none of us are free. If one of us is chained, none of us are free. Everybody's trying to come into the United States talking about we want freedom, because the the propaganda is there's freedom in the United States. Man, there's freedom over there in the United States. I'm going over to the United States where I can be free. Everybody wants something because they think that it's what they're looking for when they get it. They don't want that junk no more. Now, we did Ray Charles, and I'm not going to do the same thing with Solomon, but we're going to play Solomon, okay? Okay, this is Solomon Burke, the late Solomon Burke. He died a couple of years ago. Solomon Burke, this man can sing. Now, if y'all don't know about Solomon, go ahead and look up Solomon. This is a different web browser, so I got to skip through this junk. So I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. This is a different web browser. I haven't set up all the ad blockers. Well, there is supposed to be the skip ad, so I'm going to have to go check that. So they're here, so they didn't work that time. Look, ladies and gentlemen, Solomon Burke. Listen, my brothers, because if you do, you can hear their voices singing out throughout the years. All right, we're going to let Solomon play in my background. Ladies and gentlemen, Solomon Burke's version of None of Us Are Free, I have a lot of respect for. He did a very good job with it. My opinion. I don't give my opinion too often, but we need to talk, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about Willie. Y'all know about Willie, don't y'all? This is Willie Lynch, 1712, Virginia, one of them colonies. Everybody's so proud of them forefathers and proud of these colonies, and y'all don't even understand. Ladies and gentlemen, he didn't call it making of a slave. But Willie Lynch was brought on over to say, hey, how y'all doing? Y'all got some slave problems? And let me tell you what y'all need to do. Ladies and gentlemen, look at the year. This isn't a 1776 issue. What gave them the right to bring slaves to this Newfoundland? Interesting, huh? As our boat sailed south on the James River, named for our illustrious king, whose version of the Bible we cherish. Interesting. I've not read this, ladies and gentlemen. I will listen to it later. I'll play it in the audio while I'm doing some other work. What I want to show you, because you guys need to know where things started. We're not going to do the whole letter. We just need to talk. What I put in here was the word Negro. I just put Negro. Ladies and gentlemen, for fear that our future generations may not understand the principles of breaking both of the beasts together, the nigger, and the horse, we understand that short-range planning economics result in periodic economic chaos. Periodic economic chaos. Short-range planning economics result in periodic economic chaos. So that to avoid turmoil in the economy, it requires that we have breadth and depth in long-range comprehensive planning, articulating both skill, sharp perceptions. We lay down the following principles of long-range comprehensive economic planning. Both horse and niggers is no good to the economy in the wild and natural state. No, it can't be free. Both must be broken and tied together for orderly production. For orderly future, special and particular attention must be paid to the female and the youngest offspring. But must be crossbred to produce a variety and division of labor. Both must be taught to respond to a particular new language. What's the new language? Psychological and physical instructions of containment must be created for both. We hold the 6 cardinal principles as truth to be self-evident, based on the following: the discourse concerning the economic of breaking the principle as truth to be, tying a horse and a nigger together. All inclusive are the six principles laid down about. Note, neither principle alone will suffice for good economics. We're not going to read the whole thing. I just want you to go ahead and note how they create the word Negro. Go ahead. Note how they define what a Negro is. On my birth certificate, it defined my father as a Negro. What is a Negro? Well, let William Lynch tell you. See, they made the Negro. Shh! Don't tell nobody. Don't you dare go tell nobody that the government has been perpetuating this bull all this time. You know, when I was incarcerated in Arizona, I had a deputy warden tell me, you have to work. I have to work. Really? How much you gonna pay me? 5 to 7 cents an hour is the average pay. Really? 5 to 7 cents an hour? You must be out of your mind. I've never been a slave to no man. And I got put in. Now this is what they did to me to make sure I understood, because they had to tie the nigga down. You heard what I said. They put me in Supermax. That was my punishment. They put me in Supermax. And I spent the majority of my time in Supermax 1 and Supermax 2. You don't believe me? Go to Arizona and type it in there and ask about their Supermax prisons. That's 23-hour lockdown. Because what did they have to do? They had to recondition me. I had to beg for my freedom. Let me out! I'll work all right. Yeah, go ahead. Give me a job. 5 cents? No, I'll do it for 2 cents. No, I tell you what, I'll do it voluntarily for free. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Like I told you, they had to throw me out because the junk that they were doing, I already knew about the psychological junk. Not because I knew of this stupid William Lynch junk. Pay attention. I knew of the psychological stupidity because psychology was the major that I chose. I saw all the psychology of the prison system. I saw that the fact that the prison system was not designed by architects, it was designed by psychologists. I knew these things before going into that environment. They know that they can't break every single male. But why did you let them break you? I know some of you going to say, they didn't break me. Ain't nobody going to break me. Really? Then why do you capitulate every single time? Ladies and gentlemen, you let them take your homes. You let them take your kids. Hold on. Pay attention. You let them. But they brought guns and they came in and they did. Yeah, they did. But you didn't sue them. You didn't call them lynchers. See, the term lynching is derived from his last name. This is the foundation of their system, ladies and gentlemen. I told you, when I gave you guys, hold on, we're going to do it again because they let it stay up and I'm going to do it. You better believe I'm going to do it. We're going to go, and I'm going to tell y'all, go there if you want. FLIKER.TV. But it's the Flickr. THE.TV. The Flickr.TV. Am I advertising for them? Ladies and gentlemen, yes. Do I know these people? No. But I know that they provide a pretty good service. Because they allow... it don't like my DNS. Y'all hold on a second. I think that's it. Hold on. Let me do it this way. Because I may have spelled it wrong. I think it's a C in there. But I'm not sure. Because I know they spell it differently. I should go. I have my sales phone right here. And I already has it in my sales phone. Because that's where I go. All the time. All the time. Flixer. Yeah, Flick. It's not with the C or the K, it's Flix. So the Flixer.tv. There it is right there. The Flixer.tv. Because I was thinking flick, Flick. That's why I said, I think there's a C in it. Because I was thinking flick. The Flixer. And we're going to put in, watch this, keyword search, SNAP. Now, I'm not suggesting that people watch Snap. Hold on now. I'm not suggesting that people watch Snap. Snap is a piece of bull. Okay, they bring all that demonic stuff in, and sorry, can't handle that. However, the first episode, you don't get to see that. Okay, it's a psychological thriller that tends to deal with difficult social and ethical topics head on through a unique method of storytelling, blah, blah, blah. And they did that, ladies and gentlemen. They did it. They did it through a unique method of storytelling, but then they bring in this stupid God thing where he acts as a devil's advocate. Okay? In order to tell their story. Why? To take away from the message that's being delivered. So we're going to go right here. Where you at, Snap? Hold on. You're supposed to give me a play. I don't want to do that. Uh-oh, we got to go backwards. Yeah, it says full episodes. Where are my full episodes? They're supposed to be right here underneath. And I haven't used the website like this before, but there's nothing for me to click on. I don't want to. All right, let's do this. Let's see if it keeps me on the Flickr.com. It didn't do it, so we got to go back. TikTok. So we click here. It says watch now. We're going to watch now. And let's see. Maybe it didn't pull up all the way. Because there's supposed to be episodes are supposed to be underneath. See, it did that flixing again. So I don't see. Oh, season 1. There it is. There. See, that's where it's supposed to do. It didn't do that the last time. That's why I couldn't find it. And it's called Willie Lynch. Now, I want to tell some of you, and some of you are going to be offended by this information. Because you're going to think it's that propaganda stuff because that's what you've been taught. Pay attention. Go ahead and do your research on Willie Lynch. And tell me he didn't exist. Tell me he didn't come over to do exactly what is stated here. Tell me that these practices are not being practiced in our society on a daily basis. And then I'll entertain you. No, there's not going to be any conversations on my channel about this bull. Look, here, hold on. People were trying to tell me about this, ladies and gentlemen. All my life, people were trying to give me this information, tell me about this. I'm glad I didn't listen to them. Now, hold on. I'm not glad I didn't listen to them because I want to perpetuate the stupidity. I'm glad I didn't listen to them so I could come to my own conclusions. Because, see, I downloaded the Willie Lynch letter, but several of them was people explaining to me what the letter was talking about. I don't need your explanation. Let me determine for myself. That's why you heard me just say, go and do your research, people. Don't listen to what somebody else says the letter is about. Read it for yourself. Understand it for yourself. That's why at the beginning, what did you see me do? I read certain snippets so that you could see and hear. Okay, then do your research on him and his history and who he was and watch his bibliography because he knew he would go down in history with his stupidity. And if he existed today, he would still be existing. Why? There was a problem downloading. Well, then you better download it again. Sorry, that's J Downloader 2. And it's downloading some stuff in the background. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to play everything because the beginning of this talks about all of this intro about the airplanes and all of that. We want the story. Right here. That's where we're going. We want Willie Lynch. Now, by the way, welfare. You pit the female against the male and the male against the female. Those of you who don't get it, I grew up in a household where there was no fighting. I'm told my father hit my mother one time. And my mother picked up a Singer's sewing machine. And if you've ever had to lift up on a Singer's sewing machine, those things weigh 50 pounds. Okay, so you can see my mother was no weakling. Picked up a Singer's sewing machine and threw it at my father. Okay, he ain't never tried to hit her ever again. I'm sorry, I think that is hilarious. Because, again, he got an understanding. My mother was no punk. My mother was no weakling. My mother did not sit up there and just capitulate. But my mother did have 7 children to take care of. And because we lived in the projects, my father could not be there to help take care of us. No, see, my father had to do exactly what the system said he had to do. He had to live separate from us, which means that was 2 different rents being paid. When it could have been 1 rent and the family could have been moving forward as opposed to staying still. But 2 different rents being paid, 2 different sets of groceries, 2 different sets of phone bills, 2 different sets of everything, which made it twice as hard on those families. No. Get that out of your head. There were more black families on welfare than there were whites. More black families in the projects during this period of time than there were whites. Originally, the projects were where white folks lived, and I say white only for the general term that everybody else says it. You figure me? Then in the 60s, they started letting the Negro, the slaves. I've said it. If you guys go back and listen, I've said that many times. I even wrote a story. Okay, wrote a story about that called the Grandpa Story, where he talks about how he started paying his slaves, and when they realized that you can no longer call a slave someone who gets paid for his labor a slave, other blah blah blah. Ladies and gentlemen, I've already understood the concept, which is why I told the idiot I've never been a slave to anyone. You are out of your mother mind. Now hold on. This is why we're going to help those people who are in jail, those who are getting paid 7 cents an hour. We're going to help them offset that debt because they get to report lost wages. They get to report lost salaries. So if they're being paid 7 cents an hour, enjoy that 7 cents an hour because you're going to offset it on your taxes and get your credit back. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, my job is to help people understand the system. The system doesn't control me. Now Google, they gonna get pissed off because somebody gonna tell them, hey, y'all letting that Negro sit up there and do them videos and educate this public, and he talking to all the people, not just colored folk. We can't have that. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if one of us is chained, none of us are free. So my information is not directed at one particular group of people. It's directed at every group of people. This is not a protest. This is us peacefully assembling and having a discussion. Well, how can it be a discussion when we don't get to say anything? Oh, you can talk. Go ahead, talk right now. See, y'all get to talk to the computer and the TV screen or whatever you look into, your handheld devices. You get to talk to that all the time. Okay? So y'all get to talk back. Shoot. Talk about the comments being off. Man, the comments ain't off. Y'all can comment all y'all want. I don't know what y'all talking about. Don't you dare tell me I'm not an equal opportunist. Okay. This is going to continue to happen. I could minimize it, but I'm downloading. You know what I'm saying? So y'all just going to have to live with it. Let's continue to talk about this pitting the woman against the male. Ladies and gentlemen, what's happening is my mother and father, although they didn't live together, and I kept continuing to tell people, until I watched this, I never really understood it. My mother and father didn't live together, but as I said, my father made it a point to be in our lives. Because the stereotype was that most of the fathers were deadbeat dads who didn't want to take care of their kids. And so what did the mother do? Did they not kick them out of the house so that they could get welfare because they had money coming in and they got these program and that program and they got to go to beautician school or doing nails? That's right. Black women, understand you could only, in those days, go to beautician school, do nails, clean up somebody else's shiznick. Couldn't get a PhD. Couldn't become a lawyer. No, they made that way too hard on purpose. And then later they allowed them to become obstetricians and they allowed them to become nurses, but still not doctors. Oh, I know a couple of black. Shut up! You are not the person I'm talking to. The ones who know what I'm talking about know exactly what I'm talking about. Again, I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to have that type of ignorance where people are going to look for something wrong in what I'm saying. The only problem is you go back and look at history. Let's do it. Shall we go back and look at history? During the 30s. Go ahead. During the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. What were colored folk regulated to? Their own neighborhoods. They could not venture outside their neighborhood and work in a white neighborhood. Why? Well, no, I know what that... And see, there's that ignorant person showing up again. The person who were able to venture out and go work in them other neighborhoods, they were either the lighter skin, like the house Negroes, because that's what they did. They pitted the people against each other. Light skin against dark skin, female against male, young against the old. Did that on purpose. They caused division. That's what the United States is doing right now, is they're working on the same plan, but they're doing it nationally. This is no longer dealing with the Negro. They are applying it to the entire nation. Hold on! Y'all need to see the plan in effect. So the next time you go into court, watch them perfect it, because that's all they're doing. It's perfecting the plan. That's why the country is so disjointed. Hold on. Scriptures prophesied it. Scriptures prophesied it. Talked about the agitation and agitation. Go and look of the sea of mankind. Every country is practicing the same junk. Willie Lynch! Everybody's practicing the same junk. Every single country. You don't believe me? India is doing it. They have their own caste system. C-A-S-T. Caste system. Are they auditioning for a television show? Yeah, Bollywood. No. The caste system is a hierarchy. That's India. That's India. Lord have mercy, huh? So let's let Willie talk. Get out of here. That's just welfare, y'all.
Oh, look, you and Daddy kind of have on the same color today.
Happy family. They just moved there.
Welfare Officer Richard Huggins will see you now.
Okay, there we go.
Hold on now. They're not called welfare officers no more. You know what they're called? Case workers. Case managers. There you go. Different name.
Not you. Men.
You notice how she said, not you? She's going to say, men are not allowed. Willie Lynch. Willie Lynch said to do that, dehumanize the man, take away his power, take away his dignity. That's the first thing, when a person of color goes to jail, that's the first thing they take from them, their dignity. Why do you think the jails are filled more with persons of color than any other group? Purposely. Now, people say, well, it's been diversified now. Yes, because they're going after everybody. But let's go back 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. Then they stigmatize persons whom they incarcerated. Then we have the ignorant people who think because somebody's been incarcerated, they must have done something wrong. Now, I admit, I was incarcerated because I did something wrong. But I served that time. And I'm still serving time. However, every other time they did it, done nothing wrong. Matter of fact, I dared them to put on a record evidence of my doing something wrong. To this day, they've not done it. Now I get to get their attention. Willie Lynch style. What? Ladies and gentlemen, I get to use the very same tactics against them. Just like I'm trying to get you to understand. You're going to see in a second. Hold on.
Men have to stay here.
Excuse me, ma'am?
Men are not allowed.
Now see, if they had told that to me, and my woman, my wife, what, you don't think families can be on welfare, mother and father? Yes, they can. they have a right to receive government assistance if they are living in the poverty state. Okay? Every policy has an exception. Shh! Don't tell nobody. It has an exception on purpose because they cannot make it about race. They cannot make it racism. They cannot make it about Willie Lynch. There must be an exception. That's why you always ask, what's the exception? What do you mean? Well, there's always an exception to the rule. That's my response to their stupidity. Well, there is no exception. You're a liar. Let me speak to your supervisor. And they always tell me the stupid exception. Always. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to hurry this up. I got less than an hour and I got a consult. So I got to get this information to you because we're working on several documents. We are now starting to work with people who are going through foreclosures, and they, oh God, got 4 different people coming in just yesterday. And a lot of work because let's just say the foreclosure is all going to be on my shoulders. And I'm going to have some help, but it's going to be difficult. Anyway, let's continue, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, she says, Ma'am, I know we are not married. Wait. What you mean? Why are you telling her you're not married? By the way, if they were married, it doesn't matter. She can bring anybody back there with her. You notice now, if you want somebody to come back and speak with the social worker with you, you can bring them. It's not private. Oh no, this is my witness. They coming with me. Oh no, this is my child. My child is coming with me. We are inseparable. That's how it always is. Incredible. Okay, so we're inseparable. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on.
We have been living together for 4 years.
Well, you can speak to Mr. Richard about that. You can come with me.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to see what's going on here. That woman and those people who were in that office, we refer to it as the county building. Hold on now. Go and ask any person of color who's ever gone through the welfare department, and we're not talking about the new booties who came in through the 80s and the 90s. We're talking about the people who were going through it in the 70s. Shut up. Shut up. I said I'm specifically talking about them. I don't care if you and your family ain't a person of color and y'all went through the system. What I'm saying to you is you are not the subject matter. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. You see, that's what they've done to us. They got people thinking that they should be included in every conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, if we're not talking about you, then you're not included. Do you have a right to be included? No! Because we're specifically talking about something specific. When we're talking about you, we will invite you into the conversation. But this conversation I'm directing towards exactly what Willie Lynch did to a particular segment of the population. This has nothing to do with anybody who was not included. At the time, Willie Lynch identified this new group of people he was creating. That group has never disappeared. Like I told you, 1967 birth certificate says my father was a Negro. Ladies and gentlemen, I've never been a Negro. Ever. You see, I couldn't have lived during this time as an adult. Because, oh no, woman, get out my face, go get your supervisor. And I would have told my girl, no, then come on, we're leaving. And I would have called the governor's office and I would have talked about the discrimination. And we would have been running from there, not running physically, but running from the governor's office to the next office to lawsuit. I've never been a slave to anyone. Never tolerated it, never allowed it. I remember I went to Louisiana as a child, and my cousins were saying, yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. And why are you calling them ma'am? Why are you calling them sir? I saw roots. Ain't nobody being called no ma'am and no sir. What the, and, well, that's how we do it down here. Well, nah, how y'all do it down here? No, it don't work like that where I come from. I need y'all to hold on a second. I got to go and turn down Turn down the heater. Can you notice this? It's gonna get warmer, but these storm systems that's coming in, they're coming from the north a little bit, and it ain't nothing but cold in the morning. We get up to 60 degrees in the evenings, but it's still a bone chilling cold. Now, I'm glad that we finally got a better understanding as to we're not talking about you to a group of people who want to be talked about. You're going to have your time. You're going to have your moment where you can say, you know, that applies to me. I went through the same thing. But this is not that moment. This is not that, aha, they're talking about me. This is not that moment. We're talking about Willie Lynch.
It's okay. We'll stay out here and have fun while they go in there and take care of all the adult stuff.
Now, do you see what he just said? Take care of the adult stuff. See, they were not treating him as an adult. They were treating him as a thing. And persons of color, the men, they have a real big problem with that. That's why you'll hear them say, I'm a grown man. Now, if you didn't understand that's why they say that, then you need to be one of them so that you will understand. They make it as a stereotype thing, but it happens as a result of this type of treatment. Now, I don't want that part. I want this part. Forget all that.
Huggins, sir, this is Nia Clipsham. You're 3 o'clock.
Nia, ma'am, why don't you have a seat here at the desk? Would you like some water?
Yes. Yes, that would be very nice.
Now, do you see how he is nice to her? Treats her somewhat as she's important. And that they really want her to be there. And we're happy that you're here because of the amount of money they get for funding. Remember, they get paid by Social Security and that wonderful national statistics, vital statistics. Okay? The health department. They get paid for these cases. And it ain't just a couple of $100 a month per person. Shh, don't tell nobody.
Pam, could you please get Miss Nia a cup of water? Nia, have a seat and let's talk about your situation.
Yes.
I understand you have a daughter.
Yes, sir.
What's her name and how old?
Well, her name is Carol.
Now, many of you guys won't get what just took place there, so can I help you? Remember, Willie Lynch said you go after the woman and the children. So the first thing he identifies is that there is a woman and a child involved. And now that he has the woman and the child, that becomes his focus. Now he needs to separate them from the male. Hold on.
And she's 3 years old, sir. I swear she's been here before. She's such an old soul.
What is it that you do exactly, Miss Clipson?
Excuse me, sir?
Wait. I just noticed that. Hold on.
What's your name and how old?
Well,
Hold on. I'm sorry. Y'all gotta see this because this is unique. Hold on.
she's 3 years old, sir. I swear she's been here before. She's such an old soul.
What is it that you do exactly?
Mrs. Cripsham. Now, I know that that's a mix of being a Crip and the Grisham case. I know that because this is done by the SNAP organization. So I know that's what they've done. That is nice. And, he calls her Miss Cripsham and not Miss Cripsham. You understand the difference between MISS, right? We were taught that in school. They literally taught me that in the 4th grade. The MS, the MRS, and the MISSISSIPPY. I said Y, I didn't say I. Sometimes after E.
Exactly, Miss Clipson.
Excuse me, sir?
How do you make money?
Oh, I would love love to be a beautician.
Now, you notice she didn't tell him how she made money. She told him what she would love to do. But he wants to make sure she ain't got no money coming in. So he gonna narrow it down because, you know, back then the male was the breadwinner. Hold on.
To do hair. That's actually part of the reason that David and I moved up north.
Is David the child's father?
Yes, sir. She looks just like her daddy.
Do you love him?
Sir?
Sorry.
Y'all didn't see what happened. She put the glass on the table and then pushed it in front of her and blocked her view on purpose. And that's why he did that. But that was done on purpose to show that she was being disrespectful, blah, blah, blah. But however, he asked her, did she love David? And she did Tina Turner. What's love got to do with it? Hold on, watch.
About her. I love children, especially little girls. And you know, to be honest, that's why I took this job, because I want to help women like you and save children. Where does David live? With you?
Yes, sir.
The law says that a man can't live with you if you're going to take our help.
I don't understand. Why not, sir?
If a man lives in the house, that man should be able to provide for his family.
Now, as I said in a previous video, how can a man provide for his family when you have systems set up to prevent him providing for his family? Let's go back to Willie Lynch real quick. Then we're going to bring this to a close. We did the Negro. Now, that's the first time Negro shows up. Aw, hold on. Yeah, it won't let me find it no more. Okay, we're going to keep going. Hence, both the horse and the nigger must be broken. That is, breaking them from one form of mental life to another. Keep the body, take the mind. In other words, break the will to resist. Now, the breaking process is the same for both the horse and the nigger, only slightly varying in degrees. But as we said before, there is the art of long-range economic planning. We must keep your eye and thought on the female and the offspring of the horse and the nigger. A brief discourse in offspring development will shed light on the key to sound economic principles. Pay little attention to the generation of the original breaking, but concentrate on the future generation. Wait, did they not just say enough? Anybody ever remember Black Wall Street? That's why that could not succeed, because it was interfering with their sound principle of long-range economic planning. That's why they burnt that place down and killed so many people, and nobody was ever held accountable. That's why the Black Panthers could not succeed. It wasn't that they were militant. It was because they had to quash any rebellion. Ladies and gentlemen, give me a second. I gotta take care of something. One second. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I had to take the call because it's an individual who's incarcerated. And as I told you guys, when they call, I give them my time. Yeah, that's on my dime. They don't pay for that call. Now, if you're going to have your grandmama, grandfather, son, niece, cousin, uncle, nephew, or dog, or cat, or pigeon, or groundhog give me a call, it don't work like that. Okay? I don't take calls from everybody. There are certain people whom I allow to call. Do you understand? Good. So glad we got that out of the way. Had to clear my throat. Biz Marquis, the late Busy. Make the music with your mouthpiece. Okay, now let's get back to this Willie Lynch thing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you only knew. Therefore, if you break the female mother, that's what SNAP is all about. She will break the offspring in its early years of development. And when the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you. For her normal female protective tendencies will have been lost in the original breaking process. For example, take the case of a wild stud horse and a female horse and an already infant horse compared to the breaking process of two captured nigger males in their natural state. A pregnant nigger woman with her infant offspring. Take the stud horse and break him for limited containment. Hey, Conta, get over here. Give me that foot. Chop! That was to put fear in everyone else. Ladies and gentlemen, the next step is to take a bullwhip and beat the remaining nigger male to the point of death in front of the female and the infant. Don't kill him, but put the fear of God in him, for he can be useful for future breeding. So when you go and you say that Will Smith did not do a very good job at Emancipation, and that the whole Emancipation movie was not all that great, you have no idea what you're talking about. It's not my opinion. Those are facts. You have no idea what you're talking about. They couldn't do this at the beginning like they did in Snap. Now, this is what I want to show you guys about Snap so that you guys can understand. Oh, Snap! Watch this. I'm going to leave the Flixer up here because I want to keep it on at least one of my browsers. We're going to go SNAPRADIOBROADCAST. Aw, I didn't mean to do that, but the fact that I did it, you done did that? I done did that. KCRW Snap was a nighttime radio program on KCRW, created and hosted by Deirdre Donahue. The show revolutionized live performance in radio in an entire blah, 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 blah. Snap Judgment. This is the show I'm talking about. Snap Judgment. Snap Judgment. How to listen to Snap Judgment. If you guys have never listened to Snap Judgment, I promise you will appreciate Snap Judgment. This is the type of thing you listen to every once in a while on the way to work or something. I promise you will appreciate Snap Judgment. This is the show that I'm talking about. Hoo-wee! Snap Judgment. Okay. Oh, you know what? I didn't know that we could get it on podcast TuneIn. I have TuneIn. This doesn't exist anymore. But I have TuneIn. I have that. I also have Amazon Music, and I have Pandora and Spotify. I can listen to Snap Judgment. Hoo-wee! Snap Judgment. NPR. I can listen to it on NPR too, because that's what I used to listen to it on, is NPR, National Public Radio. That's right. How to listen. Tells me how to listen. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. When you get a chance, Snap Judgment has done a couple of episodes, including with people who have, what is that, autism. The episode they did with the autism thing, man, very good. And then it's like, the Christmas Tree Mafia, Snap Classic. Okay? The Nigger Raiders from Foreign Policy. No, I'm sorry. Negotiators of Foreign Policy. All right. Let me see. I'm trying to see if Soundtrack of Silence, The League of Impersonators. I think you guys might like Snap Judgment. So if you've never heard of Snap Judgment, again, Snap Judgment is, I want to let you know so that you get it. Definitely behind this or associated with this or somebody, when they created this, they were listening to Snap Judgment. Okay? Because that's the type of thing they bring to people's attention about how that is done. Snap Judgment, I think, is done very well. Okay? I don't know the people. I just listen to them. And when I could find them. But now I know where their podcast is. You better believe I'm putting TuneIn back on my radio and listening to them again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Willie Lynch special. And we're going to be talking about stuff like this in the future, so be prepared. Why? Why is this important? Ladies and gentlemen, can't you see it in our society? Can't you see it in our society? Can't you see the amount of homeless people of color? Yeah, I know there's a lot of veterans out there who are not people of color who are homeless, but can you not see the amount of homeless people of color? Do you not see the amount of homeless people of color who are men? Do you see the amount of homeless who continue to go back and forth to jail whom the police harass? Well, because they're perpetuating the same system. This is the blueprint. We just showed you the blueprint for their acts and their actions. This is how, we're going to do one more. Okay, let's do this one right here. Nigger marriage. We breed 2 nigger males with 2 nigger females. Then we take the nigger males away from them and keep them moving and working. Say the one nigger female bears a nigger female and the other bears a nigger male. Both nigger females being without influence of the nigger male image, frozen with an independent psychology, will rise their offspring into reverse position, feminizing them. Hold on. The one with the female offspring will teach her to be like herself, independent and negotiable. We negotiate with her, through her, by her. We negotiate her at will. The one with the nigger male offspring, she being frozen with the subconscious fear for her life, will raise him to be mentally dependent and weak, but physically strong. In other words, body and mind. Now, in a few years, when these 2 offspring become fertile for early reproduction, we will mate and breed them and continue the cycle. Oh, that is good, sound, and long-range comprehensive planning for economics. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you, I've never been a slave to anyone. My mother raised me. And I want you to understand, she didn't raise a punk. I've never, ever, ever could have been. Why? I want you to pay attention so that you get it. Nobody can force me to do anything. I do not capitulate to nothing or anyone. I do not. Never have, never will. Nobody's been able to make me do anything. I don't care. Chop off a hand, chop off a leg. It's still not going to do it. Sorry, told you, 14%. It's not something that I do on purpose. It's just the 14 percenters that I talk about. If you don't know about the 14 percenters, there's a segment of the population that cannot be made or forced to do anything, no matter how hard you try. It's not an issue of being stubborn. It is just an issue of the personality. 14% of the population. I refer to them as the 14 percenters. You cannot force them, cannot make them, cannot put them in a position where they feel they have no other choice. They will always go with the original. You cannot force them. So, let's see. Yeah, I could see this taking place in a neighborhood, and I could see the males growing up in such a neighborhood trying to prove that they were this and that they were that. And I could also see why you have those groups saying that we need to teach our young men, we need to be there for our young men. The 1 million man march. But they didn't get it, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot undo it in one generation because it took several generations to get here. How do you reverse the position? How do you reverse their standing? Remember, they're doing it with all of the different groups of people. How do you reverse this? Well, you start one generation at a time. You start with the youngest and the female. You reverse it on them. You do the same thing that they're doing, but in reverse. The youngest and the old. Forget about the ones that are today that are so malleable, but you don't have time. This was supposed to be done in the 60s. This is supposed to be done in the 30s. This was supposed to be done prior to Martin Luther King. They tried to get rid of Martin Luther King because he was a pacifist. He was one of these Negroes. That's right. Sorry. It's just, you got to understand. He's exactly what they stated they were trying to create. Malcolm X wasn't. Malcolm X got a hold of information like this and he's all, what the? And the roosters have come home to roost. Okay, that's why he had a problem with the Elijah. That's why he had a problem. Because he wanted capitulation. Malcolm X says no. They were butting heads. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, the system is designed to have us fighting with one another, have us arguing with one another, have us debating one another. Every time I say something, it wants to have you challenging what's being said as opposed to taking the information for what it is and then focusing on the most important part, focusing on the subject matter and not the comment matter. This is live, people. This is live. None of my videos are pre-programmed. This is live. I don't write a script. These other people write these scripts and you can see, watch their videos, you can see how they spliced it and took things out and all that. You don't see that here. Now, you will find some of my videos that I will take certain things out because it will show something and it ain't supposed to be showing. What? You're showing stuff that is inappropriate? No, I'm showing other people's information that I can't show to the public because people trust me with their information. So that's why I will amend the video with an editing software or it won't go up at all. Yeah. Feels me. Now, possible interloping narratives. Early we talked about the non-economic good of these horses and niggers in their wild and natural state, and then we talked about talked out the principles of breaking and tying them together for orderly production. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm definitely going to be listening to Willie Lynch. Because when the system tries to deal with me, I'm going to remind them of Willie Lynch. See, I've been bringing forth discrimination complaints. I'm going to remind them of Willie Lynch. Because I know when I'm being treated differently. You treat me differently and I'm going to bring it to your attention. Because I don't play that. I don't play that. So, ladies and gentlemen, as Solomon Burke and Ray Charles both said, and Solomon's going to take us out of here, y'all. We're going to go, you know what? Solomon, yeah, we're going to let Solomon take us out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, the great and late Solomon Burke. You know, if only people would just take the time and listen instead of debating. We're living in a society where they want us arguing all the time. They want us competing with one another. I mean, that was the thing in school. I was just thinking the other day, there was a young man in our school, and he was in the remedial class, the so-called slow class. They referred to those individuals, the kids, as being retarded. These people weren't retarded. They did have a learning disability, but they weren't retarded. And there was a big guy, big for his age, being in the 6th grade. And since I was the so-called king of the school, the strongest and most aggressive kid in the school, yeah, nobody, if they fought me, they wouldn't win. Sorry. Because I had been groomed to fight. Mike Tyson, reflect on that. I'm glad I put an end to that. Well, they wanted me to fight this young man. Just because of our size. The kids wanted to see a fight. There was no fighting the whole school year. There was only one fight. The whole school year, and that was me and my best friend. Because he hit my brother. He was my best friend, but he hit my brother, and I was under the orders to kick anyone's anus who messed with anybody in my family. I regret that to this day. And I regret the loss of that friendship. Well, anyway, they wanted me to fight this young man, and I refused. Told him, why would I do that? This man ain't never did nothing to me. That's what they do to us, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let them do that to you. Okay, 59 minutes, 55 seconds.